Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening, I'm Katie Cook. We now know one person is recovering after a shooting Friday night in Harlan County. Kentucky State Police tell us it happened just before 8:30 p.m. at the Cumberland Manor apartment complex on Maston Drive. We're told an argument between several men ended with an exchange of gunfire. One of those men, Tony Taylor, was shot in the leg and was flown to UK Medical Center in Lexington. Now he is expected to recover, but police are still searching for suspects and have not made any arrests at this point. We will update you as we find out more information. The Pike County Health Department is reporting 9 new COVID-19 cases today. Health officials say all new cases are symptomatic and the patients are recovering at home. The age of those newly infected ranges from 18 to 83. Pike County now has 80 confirmed cases. 20 of those cases are active. And the Harlan County Health Department is also reporting 1 new case today. This brings Harlan County's case count to 23. Well, the novel coronavirus is spreading rapidly in the southern and western United States, including 3 of the most populous states, California, Texas, and Florida. Florida state officials reported nearly 9,000 new cases in one day. The previous high of 5,500 came just 2 days ago. Texas Governor Greg Abbott ordered bars to close and imposed new restrictions on restaurants. California Governor Newsom says some counties may have to go back into lockdown if the virus continues to spread. Officials in other states are sounding the alarm.
If we're not careful, Mississippi's going to look like New York at the height of the pandemic.
The CDC says the actual number of coronavirus cases is probably 10 times higher than the number of those who've tested positive. That would mean roughly 25 million Americans have been infected. Several bars on Broadway in downtown Nashville have filed a joint lawsuit against key city and state leaders. The lawsuit lists Kid Rock's bar, Honky Tonk Central, along with managing partner Steve Smith. The bars are seeking damages for lost revenue from Mayor John Cooper's mandated stay-at-home orders. The lawsuit states businesses have been specifically targeted by officials and have received unfair treatment in comparison to protesters during recent demonstrations. As COVID-19 numbers rise, some demographics are seeing higher rates of cases. The city of Lexington is taking a targeted approach to reach the Hispanic community. Today was the 3rd and final day of mobile testing in the Cardinal Valley neighborhood. Olivia Russell shows us why this community needs help.
Drive-through testing continues in parts of Lexington, this time targeting the Hispanic population.
We have came into this population to get everyone tested.
Numbers show the Hispanic community has been hit hard by COVID-19 recently. In fact, they make up almost 30% of new cases in Lexington, but only about 7% of the city's population.
And that's obviously extremely disproportionate. And if we can literally reach out to more Latinos, because we have a really large population in Lexington, it's going to give us better numbers, and the more testing we get out, the better off we will be in the long run.
And a lot of that has to do with they don't know where to get tested, transportation to go and get tested, so we came to them instead of them coming to us.
But they're not just supplying the tests. Blue Water Diagnostics partnered with city leaders to provide 3 interpreters, including Isabel Herrera Taylor.
Yes, estamos aquí para ayudarte. You listen to and you comprehend in your own language.
She points out that even though many people speak English, presenting the information in Spanish helps ensure that nothing is lost in translation.
We're also trying to overcome some cultural barriers of trust, of fear.
Overall, they're hoping to stop the spread of COVID-19 throughout all of Lexington, and it starts by reaching out to everyone.
It's very important to take care of our international population, to take care of all of us in a pandemic.
In Lexington, Olivia Russell, WKYT.
Appointments are now available to set up for people to meet with unemployment officials next week. In-person assistance will be available by appointment only on June 29th and June 30th at the Ashland Community and Technical College. Appointments will be available from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and claimants must bring 2 forms of identification. Appointments can be made at kcc.ky.gov. Many former Eric C. Kahn clients are seeing checks this week as part of a malpractice settlement won by Floyd County Attorney Ned Pillersdorf. Pillersdorf mailed out 1,073 checks this week to former clients who filed claims. Clients received anywhere from $200 to $10,000 depending on their case. Pillersdorf says the settlement is just a drop in the bucket of what could come from another existing lawsuit, but the money is still obviously needed.
I mailed out the checks Tuesday morning, and when I checked my lawyer-client account, I noticed on Thursday probably 150 of them had already been negotiated, which tells you how financially desperate many of the former Kahn clients are.
Pillersdorf says there are more funds in a reserve, and since mailing the checks, he has heard from more people who lost benefits. He is working with a judge on how to proceed there.
Well, we saw those overcast conditions this morning, and those dreary conditions are continuing this evening. Let me take you to one of our cameras. If you look behind me at Interstate 75 down into London, you can see those very overcast skies just continuing to go across the region, and they look to stay pretty gloomy pretty much all day. And even as they head into those afternoon hours, you can see just a little bit of rain starting to pitter-patter on that camera lens there. So they did see just a few showers. Overall, though, we are still seeing a few showers, but nothing like we were seeing a little bit earlier this afternoon. Looks like we're most of us seeing a little bit of a break, so still seeing that cloud cover, but on the drier side now. But that does not mean we have seen the end of this rain for tonight. And temperatures a little bit cooler today, so that rain did help us cool down. We were in those mid-80s yesterday, and some of us got into those lower 80s today, but now pretty much all of us in the 70s. Some of us in those upper 70s, Hazard at 79, others of us, Somerset, you can see only at 73 degrees, so a little bit cooler. But overall, we are going to continue cooling down tonight, and we'll see that rain break for a little bit longer here, but definitely could still run into a stray pop-up as we head throughout the evening hours. But overnight tonight, we will be seeing those showers and storms return once again. Katie?
All right, Brooke, thank you. The city of Hyden hosted a Back the Blue Officer Appreciation Day. WYMT's Dakota Makers was there and shares what leaders and sheriff's deputies had to say.
Lots of work, but well worth the cause. We got some awesome officers.
A celebration of community members showing support to deputies.
Not only do they have our back always, they also are friends and neighbors.
For Leslie County Sheriff Billy Collett, that support means the world to him.
At this point in time, any support from the community is amazing for a law enforcement agency, given the current state of the situation that we're in.
A community bake sale with donations going to help pay for 2 new patrol cars.
In order to pay for the vehicles, we have to have 25% of the money, and this is going to help us come up with that 25% of the money that we need.
A tight-knit community.
Everybody knows everybody. Most everybody cares about everybody. It's awesome to live in a place like this.
Looking up to those who serve.
When you need somebody, then they're very, very important, you know, and they always come quick and respond and do a good job.
Overwhelming support by a thankful community. In Leslie County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
And if you are interested in donating to help raise money for the new patrol cars, we have information over on our website at WYMT.com. Mississippi lawmakers are taking steps to erase the Confederate battle emblem from the state flag. The symbol has come under criticism amid nationwide protests against racial injustice. The House voted today to file a bill to remove the symbol. A committee would design a new flag, including the words, "In God We Trust." Voters would decide in November whether to endorse that design or not. Well, protesters at Jefferson Square Park in Louisville are hoping matters stay peaceful this weekend. An opposing group of protesters who call themselves freedom fighters say they are coming in armed today, claiming to liberate the city from violence and destruction. Wave 3 News' Caitlin Russ talks to one man who says the counter-protesters might be reacting to misinformation.
1 month ago, there was a night of vandalism, looting, rioting, whatever you want to call it. There was one night that happened on 4th Street Live. I stood in the middle of it and I live streamed it to 2,000 people.
Jason Downey has over 100 hours of live streams from his time spent with the protesters. He wants to show what's really happening on the ground through his lens.
I would be lying if I said there's been no more small vandalism or maybe a window broken in here and there, because it has happened. But sort of the wide scale bedlam that we saw on that night has not happened since that day.
Since that day nearly a month ago, there has been isolated confrontations between small groups of activists and traffic, but no widespread destruction and looting. Downey was in the caravan that traveled from the waterfront to Prospect a week ago. A post made by an LMPD major, Micah Shai, began to circulate, spreading false information and painting a much different picture from what Downey experienced.
Don't take my word for it. Find me on Facebook, Jason Downey. It's public. You can view that 3-hour stream and you can see that for me in the middle of this caravan, it was nothing but loud, which was exactly what it was supposed to be.
Prospect police say there were shots fired into the air, but there wasn't any looting or property damage, and the impact on traffic was brief. LMPD said they received reports of some shoplifting at a gas station and people driving through yards, redirecting traffic, but nothing to the extent of what was being shared in the officers' posts that LMPD is now investigating.
There's a whole lot of people that sit at home and through whatever influence make a lot of assumptions on a small article or a 30-second clip.
Screenshots from discussions on the Facebook group called American Freedom Fighters show they don't want the damage that happened a month ago to happen again, vowing to block off property and let police push out members of Antifa. Downey says his videos show the counter-protesters don't have a clear idea of the current situation in Louisville.
I think if a lot of people that are coming down here heavily armed to take their city back would just spend 5 minutes and see what this looks like with their own eyes, they'd find out there's not a need for them to come.
Coming up on Mountain News Weekend Edition, Hazard's very own Mother Goose Inn opened up something fun and new to explore. And find out how Prestonsburg tourism is helping Kentuckians escape from the pandemic.
And it looks like we're going to continue to see those showers and thunderstorms as we head into tomorrow. I will provide details on timing and impacts.